Council Countdown. I'm Chloe G, and I'm here with our Public Information Officer, Hannah Nichols, here at Beaufort County. We are thrilled to have you tuned in today for the meeting. It's been a couple weeks since you last saw us, and we appreciate you coming in and tuning in today. We have the Community Services and Land Use Committee meeting beginning here just at 2, and it'll be followed by the Public Facilities and Safety meeting at 3 p.m. For those of you following along at home, remember you can always view the meeting schedules, minutes, agendas, and packets online at BeaufortCountySC.gov. So Hannah, why don't you get us started telling us about the Community Service and Land Use Committee?
I'm happy to do that, Chloe. Thank you so much for having me today. So our Community Services and Land Use Committee meeting is going to begin with 2 Assistant County Administrator reports, one from Chuck Atkinson and one from Audra Antonacci Ogden. So then there's only really 4 items on today's agenda for the meeting, and the first item relates to the conveyance of property on Buckwalter Parkway for the development of an exciting workforce and affordable housing project through a partnership with Beaufort Memorial. So I'm excited to see that come down the line. Then we're going to hear an update on the Mitchellville project from Mike McShane, who is our Green Space Committee chairman. And then item 10 is a resolution to partner with the United Way of the Lowcountry on the community-wide strategic plan. And then the final item on today's first committee meeting agenda is a recommendation to council authorizing the county administrator to enter into a memorandum of understanding, or an MOU, with the city of Beaufort on a property known as Boundary Street Vista. So, short meeting today, but pretty densely packed with some important items.
Sounds like it's going to be, like you said, an important one. We're going to hear from a lot of different departments.
And I hear that Audra has a really exciting announcement for her Assistant County Administrator report, so I'm looking forward to that.
Yeah.
And then after that meeting at 2, please stick around. We've got a Community Services and Land Use Committee meeting at 3 o'clock. At that meeting, we're going to see an update from the Assistant County Administrator of Infrastructure, Jared Fralix, on the 2018 1-cent transportation sales tax. So he'll probably give us like some project updates, some new information as far as where those projects are in their process. So we're looking forward to that. After that, we're going to get a presentation on county road and signal assets from Brian Bauer, who is our Interim Director of Engineering. Items 10 through 16 after those presentations are all approval recommendations on various transportation and airport items. And then we're going to hear a discussion for the funding of a hangar construction project at the Beaufort Executive Airport. That discussion is going to be led by John Rimbold, who is our airports director. And then we're going to hear a number of FAA grants coming forward for approval. And then that meeting ends with a couple of operating agreements for the airports. That was a super quick summary of everything that's going to be covered today. As always, we encourage you to check out the agendas in full. You can get packets, minutes, and more at BeaufortCountySC.gov.
And just a reminder, there is no county council meeting today. That one is scheduled for next week. So only 2 meetings today. Usually we have one more on these Mondays, but...
Correct. Everything got a little shuffled around from the tropical storm a couple weeks ago.
Speaking of tropical storms, it is hurricane season, as we saw already with Tropical Storm Debbie. We have some important things for everybody to remember. So the first one being know your zone. And in South Carolina, state and local officials issue hurricane evacuation zones in coastal counties. Know your hurricane evacuation zone instantly with the SC Emergency Manager mobile app and hurricane.sc. South Carolina's online hurricane guide is always smart to remember to have that app downloaded in case of any type of emergency. Step 2 is to prepare your home. Make sure you're doing some safety checks. Make sure your home is able to withstand the effects of a hurricane. Have your roof inspected. Double check your shutters. Get some sandbags.
Yeah.
Make sure your insurance policies cover the types of damages that hurricanes can cause, and make a list. Take photos of your belongings. Check and, like I said, check your policies. And then another one is to remember your route. So be aware of the closest hurricane evacuation route ahead of the upcoming season. This will allow for a more efficient and a safer route out of the hurricane's path once you've learned it, stick to it and remember it. So always want to rely on those blue signs that you may see out there on the road.
Thank you so much for those tips. It is more important than ever to be aware of that. Make sure you tune into the National Hurricane Center for any up-to-date alerts, and just keep that in mind. Now, this Saturday, we have a very exciting announcement. Don't miss the grand opening of the new Port Royal Library branch on August 24th. So the ribbon cutting is going to begin at 10 a.m., and we're going to have story time and refreshments afterwards. Guests are invited to tour the building, talk to staff, register for a library card, and check out materials. So the branch's regular hours are going to be Monday through Thursday from 10 a.m. to 7, with Friday and Saturday 10 a.m. to 5 p.m. The branch will be closed on Sundays.
And we know everybody at the library is so excited for this new addition and have a lot of exciting things coming up for the library. So also, Beaufort County is going to be offering a free electronic recycling event this Saturday, August 24th. The event will be held from 9 a.m. to 1 p.m. at the following locations: River Ridge Academy at 3050 Raider Drive in Bluffton. To assist in alleviating traffic buildup, please take Hampton Parkway to Raider Drive to access the event. There will also be one held at the Beaufort County Public Works on 140 Shanklin Road in Beaufort. Items that are going to be accepted for the recycling include personal computers, laptops, CRT monitors, LCD monitors, CRT televisions, non-CRT televisions, printers, hard drives, and miscellaneous electronics such as cell phones, tablets, and fax machines.
Speaking of events coming up this week, Councilmember Dawson is going to be hosting a meeting for the Sheldon community discussing the 2024 sales tax referendum tomorrow, August 20th at 6 p.m. That meeting is going to be held at the Elijah Washington Center, and Jared Fralix, our Assistant County Administrator of Infrastructure, is going to be there to give a presentation and answer any questions that the community may have.
And to stick on a positive note, the Beaufort County Passive Parks Department has an exciting nature program scheduled. This includes birding and trail walks and special events on the schedule. This week in particular, we have several opportunities to take it outside. On Wednesday, August 21st, there will be a birding walk at Whitehall, or join us on August 22nd for a new program called Critters on Crystal Lake. These events are free to join, and they help attendees enjoy the wildlife and beauty of our area. If any of these sound interesting, please contact the Passive Park Naturalist at destiny.rains@pcdef.net for more information, or visit our website to see the full program schedule for August. I know we both got to attend at least one of these events, and I'll tell you, it is super relaxing, and it is great to, take it outside, like we said, and get to enjoy some of our passive parks we have to offer here.
Yeah, those are exciting programs and a wonderful way to enjoy the outdoors, especially as we maybe start to head into fall. I saw we're 35 days away. I wish it would start to feel like we were 35 days away.
It's a little cooler today, just a little.
Now, if you've ever wanted to recycle and you just were a little overwhelmed with the process, weren't really sure what went in which bin and where you could put things, Beaufort County Solid Waste and Recycling has launched a new app to help you. The app, called Recycle Coach, is interactive to help residents reduce household waste and ensure they're recycling correctly. It's now available for download in the Google Play and the App Store, and all you have to do is search for Beaufort when you sign up.
And I think we've got time for one more announcement. The Beaufort County Alcohol and Drug Abuse Department is holding a back-to-school kickoff for the All Aboard Youth Leadership Program. This event encourages middle school and high school students north of the Broad to develop peer-to-peer conversations about substance abuse in hopes of reducing their misuse. In partnership with All Aboard Beaufort, the event will be held on Saturday, August 24th from 10 a.m. to 11 a.m. at the Beaufort Branch Library at 311 Scott Street. This is a free event and open to all interested middle and high school students in northern Beaufort County.
Sounds like we have quite the week.
Sounds like August 24th is going to be a pretty big Saturday for our libraries as well. So, yeah, a lot of great things we have happening this week.
Well, we would like to thank you for tuning in to BCTV today. You can view all of our programs on cable channels Hargray, Comcast, Spectrum, and we are streaming live at BeaufortCounty.tv. You can also stream through the free BCTV app available on Roku, Apple TV, Android TV, and Amazon Fire. Beaufort County Television has also launched a new traffic channel available 24/7. The traffic camera channel offers over 50 live views of the most important and frequently used highways, streets, roundabouts, and busy intersections throughout the county. Don't forget, you can always check out more information, grab that agenda packet, and learn more about the items that we're going to be discussing today at BeaufortCountySC.gov.
Yep, so I think that's all the time we have, so just stay tuned and you will shortly be beginning our meeting. Thank you.
I'd like to call the meeting of the Community Services and Land Use Committee to order. Please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thanks for the update.
Okay, we have two people on Zoom, I think, from County Council. Public notification of this meeting has been published, posted, and distributed in compliance with the South Carolina Freedom of Information Act. I'll confirm that with Ms. Brock.
Yes, ma'am, that's right.
Okay, thank you. I'd like to entertain a motion to approve the agenda.
So moved, Mr. Chairman, Madam Chairman.
Thank you, Councilman Glover. Do I have a second?
I'll second it.
Thank you, Councilman Tabernick. Minutes were included in your packet from June 10th. I hope everyone had a chance that wished to review them. Any comments or changes to those minutes? I apologize. I thought I'd turn this off. I entertain a motion regarding the minutes.
So moved.
A second?
I'll second it.
Okay. Without objection, the minutes are hereby approved. We have a citizen comment period, and I'd like to preface that with the rules of the road for that. When speaking, please address the chairman, give us your name and address, avoid disrespect to the council and any personalities, and confine yourself to public comment and the time allowed. And at this time, I will open it up for public comments. 3 minutes each. Anyone sign up for public comment?
No, ma'am.
All right, that's unusual. I'm sorry about that, my phone went off. Okay, we have 2 Assistant County Administrators reports. The first one will be from Mr. Atkinson, under Development.
Good afternoon. I want to take the opportunity to introduce Stephanie Nadgett. She is our Passive Parks Director, and she and some of her staff are going to give an update about the new education programs that we're doing in conjunction with how we're managing our passive parks. So I'll turn the microphone over to Stephanie. Thank you.
Okay. And those of you on Zoom, if you have questions, just kind of raise your hand. I'll try and
Will you bring up the
open it to you. All right. Go ahead.
Hi,
Hi, Stephanie.
how are you all?
Good.
We are waiting for the presentation. It's just a few quick slides.
Okay.
Oh, wrong one.
Actually, I think we have 3 council members on, but Mr. Dawson's not showing, but he's there.
There we are.
Okay.
Okay, great. I just wanted to give a little bit of an update about the environmental education program that the Passive Parks Department started in August last year. And it's been actually exactly a year today that we hired Destiny. And we've had a lot of really fun things happening. How do I make it go forward? Oh, there we go. All right. In August of last year, Miss Rains, who is with us today, was hired as the county's naturalist. She, for her first few months, created the actual program information documentation. She developed a lot of different programming options, scheduling, and then also a plan for Crystal Lake Park to have a nature center. And then has coordinated with a number of different departments regarding outreach and marketing, including our PIO. In November, Ms. Rains became certified with the National Association for Interpretation, so that was a really big accomplishment. And then in February, do I have to do, okay. In February this year, she did the very first Meet the Naturalist event at Crystal Lake Park. So took about the first 6 months to form the program itself and all the necessary documentation. And then we do have a video, but I think in the interest of time, we're not going to play it. It's about 5 minutes, and you can watch that on the Beaufort County's YouTube channel. March through August of this year, she has provided 47 public programs for free to the public, created 3 different media videos, and including one of them is the Take It Outside series that is initiated with the department and the communications department. So on a quarterly basis, we're going to have different episodes. They're ranging from about 5 to 7 minutes on the YouTube channel that we also promote online. So the different types of programs we have are listed up there, and I'm going to have Destiny come up and give you just a quick little summary of what all these different programs entail.
Thank you.
Hi, thank you all for having me today. So some of the programs that I have listed up here are Trail Talks. I kind of walk through the different passive parks that we have here in Beaufort County, talk about the flora and fauna that we see here. They're pretty casual. All of the environmental education programming is pretty casual. Bird walks, again, very casual. We go about different passive park properties. I talk about ethical birding, the difference between being a responsible birder and not. Different types of resources that you can use while you're birding, whether you have field guides or using your phone. And then I also report to a citizen science project called eBird. So for every birding trip we have a list for that as well. Gator ganders are also pretty casual. I kind of go over the life cycle of the reptile, the American alligator, and then we take a walk around Crystal Lake Park, and we hopefully see some of the larger alligators that we have out there, as well as the baby hatchlings we had last September. Cast net clinic, that's more of a technical program that I do, where I teach people literally how to throw a cast net, as well as the history of cast netting here in the Low Country, and then any types of critters and stuff that we catch. I try to educate people on them as well. For Earth Day this year, we did seed bombs, so we made little seed bombs for kids to take home and plant, and then hopefully have some wildflowers growing in their gardens or their yards. Arbor Day, again, we kind of promoted Stephanie's longleaf pine restoration project that she's been doing with the county. And then Critters of Crystal Lake is our newest program. As she mentioned earlier, we kind of have a nature center building up at Crystal Lake Park. So this is a program that introduces the public to the local reptiles and amphibians that we have here in Beaufort County.
Thank you, Destiny. So that's a nice segue into our animal ambassadors that we have at Crystal Lake Park. So we have created a few different habitats for the public to enjoy, and those include tree frogs, some turtles. We have a couple of yellow-bellied sliders and corn snakes, and we just got a box turtle last week, so we're very excited to have some Crystal Lake animal ambassadors. And if anybody wants to come see these in person, we're doing an event this Thursday at 2 o'clock. We definitely welcome any council members who'd like to stop by and see some of our critters. On top of that, we're also doing a few different citizen science projects. So Destiny has created a few different opportunities for the public to engage in citizen science, where we do different bird counts, as she had mentioned on the bird walks. We do bird counts during that, but then we also have some formal bird counts throughout the year in association with Audubon. There's a pollinator census that is coming up this weekend. And that is a new initiative that has come about where over about a 2-hour block of time, every 15 minutes, we'll have the public come to Crystal Lake, to the pollinator garden that we've created there, and count pollinators, and that goes into, again, another national database. So the bird counts and the pollinator census is a really good way to kind of see how climate change is affecting our pollinators and our birds, and how different flowers at different times affect the species that are showing up. And then the last thing that we have going on is chronolog stations. So that picture on the right with the camera turned on its side and that little sign, so that is a chronolog station. And we have a few of these that we're setting up around the county, and it's going to document changes over time. There is a database, again, another national database set up, where you can document changes in erosion, in tides, storm damage. So we have some of these that we're setting up. One is at Fort Fremont, one's going to be at Widgeon Point, and one is at Altamaha. And so over time, we'll be able to see the changes in the salt marsh and tidal changes. And yet there's more. So this September, we're doing our very first school tour. Very excited about that. Destiny's going to be reaching out to the different schools and try and see if any of the science teachers out there would like to take some school tours on the Passive Park properties. In October, we'll be doing our second episode of the Take It Outside series. We have that formal Christmas bird count coming up in December and January in association with the Audubon Initiative. And then in January to April next year, we've put in to have an internship opportunity available to help as an assistant naturalist in hopes that we can kind of gauge how much interest there might be out there in having additional internship opportunities, or if there might be a need to hire maybe a part-time naturalist. And then finally, Destiny has just recently been selected for the 2024-2026 cohort of the Palmetto Environmental Education Certification. This is a state certification opportunity with the Environmental Education Association of South Carolina, and it's a really great training opportunity and professional growth opportunity for her. So we're very excited to see that come to fruition as well. So thank you very much for your support, and we do hope to see you at some of our programs.
Okay, thank you. We'll open it up for questions. Any questions or comments?
I just have one.
Yes, sir?
On the, I guess it's to Ms. Raines, on the gander.
Yes.
Talk to me a little about that. And the reason I'm asking the question is really about the educational aspect of it. And, for a lot of Southerners, gators is just as common as the corn snake.
Sure.
But for a lot of Northerners, they don't understand gators. So are you addressing that problem?
Absolutely.
In your
that's
educational program?
Yeah, so that's the biggest part of the program, is educating folks on how we can safely interact with alligators. They're here, they're gonna be here, there's nothing we can do about it, they were here first. So the biggest thing is kind of respecting their space and how we can best respect them while also viewing them and enjoying them while they're here.
And make sure you tell them don't feed the gators.
Oh, I always do. I've got a whole sign and a whole spiel about all of that too.
Okay, thank you then.
Absolutely.
Any other questions or comments? Very good briefing.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. All right. So Chuck, do you have anything else to report?
No, ma'am, I don't, but I believe Audra does.
I know she does. Yes, sir. Okay.
Good afternoon, Madam Chair and committee members. I just have a few updates from the Community Services Division. On August 9th, the DSN had a ribbon cutting ceremony for their new walking path. This is a paved quarter-of-a-mile walking path. Councilwoman Howard, you were there. Councilman Glover, you were there. It was a good turnout. Board members attended. We walked the path and had refreshments and light hors d'oeuvres after. That was a CIP item from last year. So thank you for your support and approval in that. This past Friday, the Veteran Affairs Office sponsored a homeless veteran standout at the AMVETS in Port Royal. It was a very good turnout. Councilwoman Howard, you were also there. There was council members from the town of Port Royal, the city of Beaufort, so it was a very good turnout.
And State Representative
Yes.
Shannon
Representative
Erickson.
Shannon Erickson was there as well, yes. I will bring probably next month
A report?
Caroline. Yes.
It
and
looked like a huge crowd. I know there were a lot of volunteer groups there.
There was. We had some county departments there as well as state departments and individuals there to cut hair for free, so it was a very good turnout. And for my final update, if you recall, several months back, I shared with you how...
Dominique, how you doing? Good. I'm into the community service meeting.
Gerald, you're not muted, buddy.
Looks like he is now.
Several months back, I shared with committee alcohol and drug rebranding the department. This has been a discussion for some time, even when the prior director was here, to have a new face for the department. And this is in an effort to reduce stigma. I would like to introduce Rebecca Witt Burgess. She is the director of the Alcohol and Drug Department, and she just had her one-year anniversary with the county. So she's been a great asset to the organization. So I'll have her come up here and share the reasoning behind the rebranding and what it'll look like.
Okay, great.
Thank you, Audra. Thank you for the opportunity to be here with you today. It was the feedback from the people that we serve in the county that highlighted a need for a name that carries less stigma with it. Acknowledging that the label alcohol and drug abuse contributes to that stigma, we face a challenge in engaging people into our services. So with our stakeholders, including our patients, our staff,
and our community partners such as Department of Mental Health, DSS, DJJ, and many others who played a crucial role in shaping our project. We completed a survey project. And I want to compliment and thank our core committee. That was Tammy Figueroa, Barbara Mathis, and Katie Godowns, and myself. They meticulously reviewed 51 surveys that we received with regard to what type of a rebrand would be good for our department. With that, the surveys revealed meaningful themes related to our culture and the natural elements of our coastal communities, like we just heard in the previous presentation, and some very inspirational colors and themes. The overwhelming consensus of those themes emphasized the concepts of hope, integrated care, health, and connection. So from those insights, we arrived at the name, drum roll, please, Asadra. Nexus Care of Beaufort County. Nexus symbolizes a central hub where all the elements converge for an individual seeking our services. Whether it is a Beaufort County citizen seeking help for themselves, or a family member, or a referral from a community partner, Nexus Care connects vital resources. These include things like primary care, medication, mental health services, housing, education, employment, and more. We do case management. We don't only provide alcohol and drug treatment. Our clinical care team, CARE, is an acronym for Compassionate Alliance for Recovery Empowerment. This is comprised of certified and licensed addiction professionals, including clinicians and peer support specialists, who draw from their long-term recovery experiences to guide others on their journey. While the name of the department legally will remain unchanged, our outward-facing name will be Nexus Care. It is intentionally aligned with the Beaufort County government emblem. I want to thank Hannah Nichols, our public information officer. She was very skillful and talented and patient in helping us design our logo. Our efforts have been entirely in-house. So we also have grant funding from the South Carolina Department of Alcohol and Other Drug Abuse Services for marketing to cover all of the cost of reprinting and marketing our new name. So we like it when this resulted in no direct expense to the department or the county. It's all paid for. And I want to thank Audra Antonacci Ogden, our ACA of Community Services, for your unwavering support and guidance through the entire project, beginning to end. Each pinwheel on there, the petals, symbolize a facet of the continuum of services that we provide to our citizens. These elements, the colors, are closely tied to our natural surroundings, the sky, the marsh, the water. The light green here at the top represents prevention, which is wellness and safeguarding our youth from alcohol and substance use. The aqua blue is for intervention, for people who are beginning to use substances who are high risk for substance use disorders down the road if there is not intervention. The dark blue denotes treatment for outpatient services for those diagnosed with substance use disorders. And finally, the dark green on the continuum signifies recovery, whereas individuals have overcome substance use issues and maintain a healthy lifestyle in recovery. The indigo blue choice in the name indicates homage to our history and our Gullah culture. And as we celebrate our 50th year of service to Beaufort County residents in 2024, we remain committed to delivering the quality care that we've always provided. Our brand, Nexus Care of Beaufort County, will propel us toward our vision of a thriving community free from substance misuse. Thank you.
Thank you. I'll open it up for questions. It's a beautiful symbol. Yeah.
Nice.
Any
Very
questions, comments?
Very nice.
Very nice.
Mr. Chairman.
Yeah, Madam Chairman, I have a comment.
Yes, sir.
I'd like to congratulate them for thinking about this and making the
department that provides such important services more accessible, more inviting. And particularly, I want to thank our very excellent public information officer, Anna Nichols, for contributing to the new logo. In addition to being an excellent PIO, I don't know if everyone knows it, but Hannah is an experienced and accomplished graphic artist, and it's great to see her contribution here to the development of this logo. So thank you all very much, and Hannah, thank you very much.
Yes, sir. Any other comments? No?
Thank you.
We look forward to it. You don't need any action from us, do you, today?
No, ma'am.
Okay, well, we love it, so,
Great.
thank you.
Thank you.
Very important.
And that concludes my report.
Is that your report?
Yes,
Okay,
ma'am.
very-
Thank you so much.
Very good. All
Madam
right.
Chair, will we be putting something out explaining this community?
I'm sure we will. I've looked to Miss Hannah and
And
see.
I'm looking at you, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
We're on the path for publicizing it. And this is across the state, if I understand it correctly, to rebrand. Every county has different ways of doing it, but this is being done throughout the state, correct? Right.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
We were one of the last.
Were we one of the last ones?
We were one of the last.
Save it for the best,
Yes,
right?
That's right, that's right, yes.
All right, very good. Any comments from anyone online? Other? Thank you, Larry, for your comments. All right, moving on to number 8. This is recommend approval to council of an ordinance authorizing the county administrator to execute necessary documents to convey property at 333 and 335 Buckwalter Parkway for development of workforce and affordable housing and medical facilities and other matters relating to that. This is 3, and I think Hank is going to brief that, and I see other people here maybe too.
Hello.
Or-
Yes, I'm here to start it, but I've brought with me Russell Baxley's in the back, and I'll kind of give you a little history. I think you all are familiar. We'll put up the picture of what the aerial is of this property. We've been talking about it for a couple of years. We worked with St. Andrew by the Sea Church, who owned it, and they were very helpful and involved and have actually taken the price down twice from the initial appraisal to help the project make sense, because there were some more wetlands and there's just a lot of expense involved in this property. But if you look at the property on the aerial map, we've looked at it before. It is right in the middle of everything. And this is a good thing for affordable workforce housing, and also for the combination with medical. So what has happened is we started looking at this property, we put in an offer on this property, and then we were in communication with the town because there are no residential units on this property. Here's the picture of it now. Thank you, guys. I was late in sending it to them. But that's okay, because the town has, their top priorities are workforce, affordable housing like us, and medical offices. And so they have been involved. We've met with, once we started talking, medical office wasn't involved. But as you all know, we've been talking to Beaufort Memorial and recognize them for their spearheading of workforce affordable housing initiatives. And so actually Stephen Steese at the town said, hey, let's all talk together, and we'd already been talking to Russell, so we met one time, and lo and behold, he found a developer, and they've made some strides. If you'd like to come up and talk at all about the strides they've made in putting this forth for tax credit financing or funding, which I won't steal his thunder, but it's exciting because at this time it's for us to start conveying this property for a real project, to have real units built in the middle of employment opportunities, shopping opportunities, public transit, and all the things that need to be around affordable workforce housing.
Okay.
Russ, would you like to elaborate a little bit on who the team is?
That's my question.
If you'll just introduce yourself for the record.
Yep, Russell Baxley, President, CEO, Beaufort Memorial. So we have partnered with Woda Cooper Companies. They're based out of Ohio. They also, however, have apartments and affordable housing units in Savannah, Beaufort, Bluffton, I think Charleston as well. So They very much are in the area. They have a local office in Savannah, which is who we've been working with. And we found them through a foundation member as part of our Beaufort Memorial Foundation board, common acquaintances. We connected, our missions lined up very well. And we've been working on a similar project at Okatee that we hope to actually apply for a housing tax credit for. Hank, Brittany, team came together, asked us if we'd be interested. I brought Woda Cooper to the table. They submitted on our behalf a application to the state for a housing tax credit. They were successful in that. They were in the top 4 of the scoring, and so they now have received approval for that, and we are currently working through land planning. So we have architects, engineers, and land planners engaged and working to submit to the town of Bluffton what we originally proposed, which is about 120 affordable housing units at said location. They would be between the 80 and 40% AMI as part of the tax credit rules and regs. And hopefully we would break ground in about a year's time as we work through some of this. There's a very small piece of medical, if anything. It's really just going to be probably focused on primary care. So if you see in the agreement, it's probably no more than about 5,000 square feet. So mostly the entire project is dedicated toward affordable housing, and what won't be will be a small medical office building which will work towards recruiting more primary care to the area. So I'll stop there and ask for any questions.
Can you give, for the benefit of everyone, what AMI stands for? The acronym?
Area median income, I'm sorry, yes.
And it's going to be 80 to,
Anywhere between 40 and 80%. They'll
40
run
and
40,
80%.
60, and 80% will be where that sits.
okay. So I'll open it up for questions.
I have a question. You mentioned the low-income housing tax credit. Where is that? You said it was approved by the state, is that correct?
Yes.
Where can I get a copy of that?
I'm happy to forward the application to you guys.
Okay.
Yeah, absolutely.
All right.
Yep.
All right.
Okay. Mr. Logan?
Yeah,
This
I
is
just
in
have-
your district.
Yeah, this is right in the middle of my district. We've been working on this for years. The location's perfect, to be honest. It's surrounded by tons of commercial property already and more development right up the street on the left there. And as well, if you see all the orange, all of that is like residential above it and below it. And we were able to keep all the buffers and the wetlands between that too, so it's not interfering on any of their pre-existing properties as well. My question, I guess I love the project. I know we have to get this approved to the town of Bluffton. I know we're working through that. With the recent increase in the pay for teachers, and I know that you guys at Beaufort Memorial were doing increases as well, will they still fall in the 40 to 80 AMI for Beaufort County?
A lot of our entry-level positions will.
Yeah.
There will obviously be some positions
And
that
that's most
will-
of our target.
Yeah, will not. But yes, still a majority of our positions as entry-level will qualify for the 40 to 80.
And I believe down, you can't see it in this map, but down to the bottom left, we still have plans at that intersection for, it's gonna be at the intersection of Bluffton Parkway and Buckwalter is the future Beaufort Memorial micro hospital as well, right?
Yes, we are still working to break ground 1st of January right now.
So when I say this location is perfect, it really could be between hospitality, medical, it's right smack in the middle of everything. So bravo for getting that done, guys.
Absolutely.
I have one other question. You said Cooper out of Ohio was,
WODA, WODA Cooper Companies.
Oh, okay.
Their corporate headquarters is in Ohio, but they do have an office in Savannah that they run kind of their low country assets out of.
I want to thank you because you answered all my questions on one.
Make that motion for you too, Ms. Howard.
I think we got another question.
Just one last question.
Two more, sorry.
Two more? Sorry. What are your thoughts, Mr. Baxley, on Hilton Head? What are you going to do there? Anything?
Undetermined. I mean, there's nothing planned currently. Obviously, we've started to expand to Hilton Head with medical assets, and so
I've seen that, yeah.
Yeah, as we grow on Hilton Head, I think it makes a lot of sense for us to start looking at similar opportunities on the island as well.
Councilman Glover?
Yeah, just one quick question, Mr. Baxley. Who will be controlling the application process for, who will be controlling that? Would it be you? Would it be the housing trust?
I mean,
Would
for
it
the
be-
workforce housing units?
WODA Cooper will be running for this, so the way that it'll work is that.
And the reason I'm asking
yeah.
the question, I may make sure,
Okay.
is that I would love to see in the 120 units a mixed use. of a income brackets in that facility, in that area.
Meaning,
I don't want
yeah.
to see all teachers there.
Oh, no, but that's the way they set it up.
Yeah.
They even put in a certain amount of 40, 60, and 80%.
Mm-hmm. And it would not be, it obviously is not dedicated only to Beaufort-Moreland employees because specifically we're using tax credits from the state, and so we can't limit it only to Beaufort-Moreland employees. It also wouldn't be limited only to teachers. It would be on a application basis, looking at those income levels specifically. So it would be open to the general public.
But you do have a number
What's
you
the
prefer?
40% AMO
No.
approximately?
I'd have to,
I'd have to look it
I
up
couldn't
too,
call,
but-
I couldn't call it off the top of my head, but I have all those stats in a folder
Yeah.
back in my office.
But 40,
Yeah, well, my concern is really, I prefer to see a mixed use, a mixed
income.
income there at this facility. Not the facility, but at this, in this area, in this development.
So you would like to see ranges outside
Yes.
of the 40 to 80?
Yes.
So probably would be good to have Woda Cooper come and speak a little bit to the project itself, because they're more the experts on the tax credits and how they use them in the affordable housing projects. I do know that you can, I'll say, veer outside of the 40 to 80 at times, but there's a small limit to what you can do in order to use those tax credits, and then it throws the ratios off. So it would probably be good if you guys wanted to understand a little bit more about, 3-bedroom, 2-bedroom, 1-bedroom, the mix, how many 40, how many 60, how many 80, and then more specifically, if there's any, I'll say, coloring outside the lines, I could get Woda Cooper here to be more specific
Well, this
about
has
that.
to go back, this is to get recommended to council
just
for
goes to
final
the next
approval
step.
for him to, for the administrator to convey property, so we can have some more answers from him.
We can have more answers
Yeah,
at the
pretty-
next meeting.
It's been a while, and I know the numbers changed, but if I remember roughly, it was the low 30,000s is 40%.
Yeah, 32.5.
Yeah, it's been a little while, but,
Yeah,
so.
maybe, yeah, that sounds right,
Yep.
yeah.
Madam Chair, I have a
Yes.
question. Mine's more for Hank. You said that the property was reduced twice, so maybe that answers my question. On the AIS, it says 3.2 million,
That's what the purchase was.
and the ordinance that we signed in March last year was for 3.6 million.
Right, and we didn't close till later because we ran into the issues on the property more. It was, I think it should have been an up to 3.6, came down to 3.2. The original appraisal was 4 million.
So it's gonna be 3.2.
Yes. We've already bought it and closed it.
Okay.
These gonna be
Believe it was in May.
rentals? These gonna be rentals?
Rentals.
Yes, rentals,
units?
yep.
Yeah, and I'll tell you too, this area, they just had another apartment complex that's in the process of being built now. And for a 1-bedroom apartment, less than a mile away from that is almost $2,000 a month for a 1-bedroom. It's $1,900 right there at Mystic Bluff, and the one next to it is supposed to be $1,850 to start out. So, and then across the street from that is the Hampton Hall Apartments, and they're at $2,000 a month for a 1-bedroom. So, putting this in that type of area, it makes it competitive.
So by comparison, when we last ran the numbers, it was between $800 to $900 was a 1-bedroom.
Oh, yeah.
Maybe a little bit less when we last ran the numbers. So we're still
It's
working through
fantastic.
all that, but that's where we'll probably end, maybe a little bit on the low side there. Yeah.
And I can't remember when we've had a project that's competed this well at the state level. I don't know that we ever have.
Beaufort County has not historically scored well
No.
at a state level, mostly because the scoring, and again, not an expert, but they take a lot of things into account. The cost of the project is one of those things, and as you guys probably know all too well, to build in Beaufort County is a lot more expensive than a lot of other counties in South Carolina. So we were excited when we actually scored in the top 4 this particular round.
Thank you. Did you,
I'll make that
motion?
motion, Ms. Howard, thank you.
We have a second?
I'll second.
A
It's a
second
good
by
job.
Councilman Tabernick. Any further discussion? This is just to move it forward to full council.
Yeah, thank you, good job.
Without objection, it will move forward, and thank you for being here.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you. All right.
Madam Chairman, I just got a text from Gerald Dawson. He's having technical difficulties, so he said as soon as they get it resolved, he'll be back in.
Okay, I see his picture, but I don't see.
He's on now.
He's
I
in?
think he's on now.
Okay.
Okay, okay,
He's
now.
in, okay.
He's back on, thank you. Moving on to the next the next thing is number 9, Green Space Advisory Committee update. This is just an update for information regarding the Mitchellville project. The chairman of the Green Space Committee, Mike McShane, has come to give us an update. And if we have other questions, Mr. Atkinson's here too. Great.
Well, good afternoon, Madam Chairman. Thank you. I appreciate your tolerance with my apparel choice today, but it's a full day, even in Charleston. Glad to see Buford Memorial here today as well. For the committee's update, you may recall that in May of this year, Council voted on the resolution adopting the recommendation by the Green Space Committee, which was to provide funding to the applicant, the town of Hilton Head, for the fee simple acquisition of the Mitchellville tract, subject, and this is what I just want to point out that I think it just needs to be clarified, was subject to completion of an updated plat, resolution of all the legal issues and claims, that was because that was being monitored by Judge Dukes in your court system, and contingent upon the fact that a new appraisal was to be done. That appraisal was completed and received by the county, which I believe, I understand each council member has received a copy of that appraisal. And so that clearly leaves a bit of a delta for the town to move forward on. It's the process, because this question I think has been asked about what happens from this point forward. I've asked your assistant administrator if he would kindly just talk about the process real quick.
Sure, I'll be happy to. Thank you. So from where we were middle of last week, the process moving forward was first getting an updated appraisal. We have done that. It was subject to the updated plat, which we received about a week prior to that. Now that we have those two documents, we're going to complete the grant agreement draft and deed restrictions, which we already have the drafts done. We just needed the appraisal to complete those documents. This week, it will be forwarded to the county administrator for review, approval, and signature. Once we have that done, it will be forwarded to Hilton Head Island for their final approval and signature. Once we get it back, all of the conditions listed in that grant agreement will be box checked by staff and by our contract attorneys and in-house attorneys. Once it is deemed that that is complete, we will enter the entire project into our internal real property purchase SharePoint approval system. It goes through all the internal check boxes through procurement, finance, legal, back to the administrator. Once the administrator signs off, CFO signs off, the wire transfer instructions get forwarded along with those approvals to the treasurer's office, and they will wire transfer, typically the same day, the funds to the closing attorney, and that brings our process to a close. And this is a grant. Hilton Head's actually buying the property. We're providing the money through Green Space as a grant. So when you hear me say grant agreement, that's why. If we were purchasing the property, it would be a little different, but that's why. That's how we're doing this one. Any questions on
Any
that?
questions about the
One here.
update?
Just a quick one.
Mhm.
Many of you know that this is the first project that I had to work on or got the opportunity to work on with Green Space.
Oh.
Actually, the first piece that was put into Green Space, if you know that. And to me, to get to this point, thank you all very much for what you've done. I'm assuming that we stayed a little bit close to town people, the mayor. There's going to be that delta. I just would keep praying everybody that they would pick that up and go. I know the closing date is when?
I don't know if the closing date has been set yet. It was,
I think it's September 2nd is the last.
September.
Before the
yeah,
third.
because you may recall there was a 30-day window in the court order that once that contract went live, they had to close within that 30 days.
Yes, sir.
It puts it like around Labor Day. So it'd be around that Tuesday or so after Labor Day. Should be closing.
And no issues with the funds that, from the new appraisal to get drafted right there?
No. I think what you're addressing, using old adage, the elephant in the room is that the appraisal came in under what the town contracted with. That was a risk they understood. We were clear that we were going to have to do a new appraisal. But the new appraisal also reflected the plat there was some corrections to acreage. That clearly was going to have an impact on the appraised value. This is Mike's view. You were making almost a $10 million grant to an applicant which they may have to put a little over $1 million in, and I'm not dismissing that that's still a lot of money, but they will end up, in fee simple, with a $10 million piece of property for a very little percentage of what they're going to be putting in going forward on that.
Listen, the way you've dealt with this whole project from the start to this point, admirable, well-respected, and I believe our colleagues in town are going to feel the same way. There's no question.
I think they will. I think there's some disappointment that the appraisal came as it is. I've read through the appraisal, as your staff has read through the appraisal. I have a great deal, our attorneys have read through this. We all have confidence that this is a good appraisal based on the corrected plat and other information that was provided.
The only thing I want to make you aware of is, in the last couple of years, I don't know if property values in Hilton Head went down or up. I believe they all went up. This may be the first one that has come down a little bit with a new appraisal. Now, again, my thing is that I want to be on record tonight, or to this afternoon, saying that we want to work with our colleagues in council. Let's not let this get away based on this little delta. Does that make sense?
I hear you very well on that, and I certainly would hope the town would not move forward with the acquisition on this truly iconic track. There's nothing, there's no games being played here. All this was done in good faith.
I think you've
The
done a good
numbers are
job.
where they are. I'm
Absolutely.
sort of agnostic to what the number was going to be because it just needed to be defensible. And that is what I believe this appraisal demonstrates.
I think you've done a great job, and I'm excited to be to this point.
I think it's fair to highlight, there was a competitive bid that was under what the town did, but still above what this appraised value. Had the town not put in the amount they put in, we wouldn't even be having this discussion, it would be done. A
We
competitive
wouldn't have it. We would
contract
lost it.
would have been established
Yes, sir. Okay.
on that.
Okay, any other
Thank you.
comments? Thank you.
Alice, if I may, Alice?
Yes, sir. Councilman.
When you look at the overhead or the PowerPoint and you see where this tract of land is located, you can immediately see the significance of it and why it was so important. This happens to be in my district, and I want to congratulate Mr. McShane for the efforts that he put forward on this. And I also want to take a moment to thank Alex Brown, who is a collaborator with us on moving this forward with the family that owned it. Alex is the Ward 1 Town Council member, Ward 1 being in District 10. So it was a complicated, time-consuming, and extremely important piece of work to be accomplished. And I want to extend my congratulations to everyone who participated in this, and in particular to Mike McShane and to Alex Brown for being stalwarts in getting this accomplished. It's a great piece of property, it has a great history, and to affiliate it with the Mitchellville project and make those two combine together in a very good relationship, I hope is the plan we're going to put together going forward. It's a real great opportunity, and I want to thank everybody for making it happen.
Well said, appreciate it. Okay, thank you. Thank you for the update.
Thank you.
Thank you for your work on this and the.
So, Ms. Howard, Hilton Head knows the delta that?
Yes.
Okay. And they've agreed to it because they know we can't cover more than the appraised value, correct?
Not under your green space program.
Yeah.
Yes, they were. They were shared this information on Friday.
Friday.
So that it's been just good faith transparency here working with your colleagues at the town. Yeah.
Just wanted to make sure.
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you, thank you.
Okay, all right, number 10 is recommend approval to council of a resolution partnering with United Way of the Low Country Community-Wide for Strategic Plan. It's an investment of $50,000 to be allocated to Together for Beaufort County from Community Services Grant Program. And Ms. Audra is going to brief that.
I think you said it all.
Okay. Do you want to, we can do it here, right? We don't have, do we have to send it to full council?
Yes. It will go- yes, it will go
still
to
goes
full
full
council.
Okay. And-
Yes, ma'am.
And you want to tell them a little bit of background? Or-
I do.
Thank you, Mr. McShane, for coming. He's busy working.
Like you stated, this is a resolution seeking approval to partner with United Way, partner and invest with United Way of the Low Country. A couple of things I'd like to point out. I have asked Del Dothat, he is the president and CEO of the Low Country of the United Way, to provide a presentation. But I think it's important to share a couple of things before I do that.
Okay.
One is that United Way is taking the lead on this. Myself and the Human Services Department will play a huge role in this, but they are taking the lead. Second, it's important to know that this is the mission of the goal of the Human Services Department to implement a community-wide strategic plan. So as I stated, I'd like to bring up Dale. He can explain why the community-wide plan is needed and what steps will take place, because I believe it's about an 18-month process. So,
Partnership. Thank you.
Good afternoon. So, first of all, I'm Dale Douthit, President and CEO of United Way, and I appreciate this opportunity to address council committee. In April of 2023, we announced that we were going to go to a single focus. That focus is to create opportunities for folks to become self-sufficient. Okay? Now, as you can imagine, there's a lot built into that statement, opportunities for folks to become self-sufficient. When we think of self-sufficiency in Beaufort County, it's very difficult. 34% of households in Beaufort County are below self-sufficiency. That means that they need some sort of assistance to get by on a daily basis. When we think about that, a lot of times we think of poverty. We think of poor people. We're not talking about poor people. We're talking about people that are working their tails off, sometimes 2 and 3 jobs, but because of situations that they may or may not be in control of, they can't quite make ends meet. So in Beaufort County, again, 34% of households cannot exist without getting assistance. In Jasper County, that number raises to 46% of households.
Wow.
To give you an idea of what that means, the federal income poverty guideline says that a family of 3 is in poverty if they make less than $25,820. That same family of 3, let's just say a single mom with 2 small children, needs to make almost $72,000 in Beaufort County to get by without assistance. That's a huge gap. So how do we get over that gap? We need to come together to create a plan of action so that all nonprofits in the community are working synchronicity, working together with common goals and metrics. The United Way has taken the lead on this project. We have engaged a community change strategy consultant called 1,000 Feathers. They've done projects throughout South Carolina. They've worked with Coastal Community Foundation, the United Way of Columbia, the United Way of Greenville, United Way of Spartanburg, to implement similar types of strategies, not specific to self-sufficiency, but other large-scale, hard-to-tackle problems. The only way that we as a community can solve these types of problems is bringing multiple organizations together to work together. So what we're asking is for the council to consider supporting this effort and becoming a partner on the project, along with the United Way, along with the Community Foundation of the Low Country. I believe, I don't have a commitment yet, that Goodwill Industries is also going to become a partner in this project. The output of this is going to be a project where everybody has a voice. Every organization has a voice. Deep Well Project is already in. They've already given the thumbs up. VIM on Hilton Head is already in. Bluffton Self-Help has already said, yes, this sounds like a great idea, right? They're going to be brought to the table in the beginning of the process, not the end of the process. We are not creating a plan and shoving it down people's throats. We're asking them to help create the plan together. And that's what this is about. So I've put together some packets for you, but I'd love to answer any questions that you might have.
Okay, open it up for questions. Yes,
Is
sir.
this the first time this is ever done?
In Beaufort County? I believe so, to address self-sufficiency. Yes, sir.
Anybody else have questions?
Okay.
Thank you.
I like this, I like to see that.
Yep. So there are several things in this packet. One is on ALICE data. ALICE stands for Asset Limited, Income Constrained, but Employed. That is the the folks that are not self-sufficient.
But they're employed, at least at
They're employed.
more than one job sometimes.
Thanks, sir. The other thing is the full proposal from the consultant that we've engaged to do this project, including the dollars and the timelines. And finally, there is just kind of an overview of what I just told you about, why we need this, what the difference is between the federal income poverty guideline and self-sufficiency in Beaufort County. The interesting thing about the federal income poverty guideline is that number is the same anywhere in the U.S. Doesn't matter if you live in Beaufort County or Chicago, LA, that number is exactly the same. And we all know that the cost of living is different depending on where you live. It's also different on who's in your household. And so that self-sufficiency data in the ALICE report is very important.
Are you going to be working with, once you put this in place, with various agencies to address the total holistic needs of a person, of a family? For example,
that's part of the process of figuring out exactly what we can accomplish by working together, because there are so many facets, much like homelessness, there are many, many facets to homelessness. Self-sufficiency is the same thing. Affordable housing that Russell Baxley was talking about a little while ago, childcare costs, affordable food and food deserts, transportation, how do you get to and from work in a timely fashion? All of these are facets to the problem. And when we come together, we're going to talk about what we can accomplish together, because we want to go forward realistically so that we have maximum impact.
One of the things you hit on is the income level for a family of, say, 3 or 4, single mom working, daycare. It can be very, very expensive, and even though the mom is making over 50, 60,000, she's still struggling with all of that because daycare is expensive, and I mean, it's like I'm waiting till my child reaches 5 so I can get him into school so I can stop paying the daycare and stuff.
Right.
Those are real serious needs and stuff.
Those are real scenarios, and there's another scenario that's defined in the packet that I gave you. It's called the benefits cliff. The benefits cliff is that point where, we'll take your example, the mom who has a couple of children in school. Well, she might be getting WIC benefits or child care assistance vouchers. But if she gets a raise, now all of a sudden she's kicked off of that program and she takes 2 steps backwards. So she doesn't want the raise. And we always wonder, well, why aren't they working harder? Why are they only working a part-time job instead of a full-time job? Why did they turn down the raise? It's because of the benefits cliff. And so there are real struggles. And to be blunt, our system is broken. Our system is broken.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you.
In the last 12 months, the nonprofit organizations in Beaufort County have contributed more than $750,000 in direct assistance to families. That's a lot of money. And that's just the nonprofits. That doesn't count DSS and the other governmental organizations.
Yeah.
You cited Jasper County too?
Yes, ma'am.
Oh, I'm sorry. Did somebody
I did.
else have a question online? They're not going to be part of this, but do they have similar plans?
They will be a part of this.
They will?
Whether they
Okay.
choose to be or not, because we
All
serve
right.
Beaufort and Jasper counties.
Yeah.
After I get Beaufort County, after I know for sure that the county wants to partner with us, then I will go to Jasper County Council and ask them the same thing.
Excellent, because we're all together in this.
We're
yeah.
all together.
And so many people in Jasper County commute to Beaufort County.
That's right.
To work and live, their schools, everything. Okay. We're so tied together, but I was surprised theirs was higher than, even worse than Beaufort County.
They have a lower population, but a higher percentage of folks who are not self-sufficient.
I got you, okay, thank you. Any other questions? So today we just we need to vote and move it on, or? Need a motion to move this on to full council?
So moved, Madam Chairman.
Yes, and I definitely, if council approves to, accept this resolution, then, we will update throughout the process. Then we'll come back
As you
and
go
provide
on.
updates.
Okay, we have a
Yes.
motion by Councilman
I
Glover.
move, we need to send this to council, or?
Yes. Yes,
Okay.
mhm.
I move that we forward this to council for approval.
Do we
I'll
have a
second it.
Okay. Is this information available electronically to send to the council members who are
I will
online?
make sure that they get a copy of that as well.
Okay. Anyone online have any questions? We have a motion and a second. I think Councilman McKellen has a question? No? Okay, he's just waving. Okay, thank you. All right. Well, we all know a lot of people who work at least 2 or 3 jobs just to get by in Beaufort County and other places. So, yeah. And these are what we would consider hardworking. We're all hardworking, but they're definitely hardworking people just to get by.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. Without objection, this will go forward to full council. And thank you for coming today.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
All right, last on the agenda is number 11. Recommend approval to council of a resolution authorizing the county administrator to enter into a memorandum of understanding with the city of Beaufort for maintenance of county-owned property known as the Boundary Street Vista. Dash Logan, this is going to be briefed by Ms. Naggett, Passive Parks Director. It's where
Hello
the
again.
old Wendy's used to be, correct? In the old county
no.
building?
No,
No,
no.
it's not. I'm sorry. It's a different, it's on the other side. Okay,
Yes.
sorry. It's on the other side.
Bernard Tires?
This is where the sheds were and are currently being removed from.
Okay, yeah, the other
So
side.
this piece of property was actually approved for purchase by county council in April of this year. We did think that we would close by June 30th, but there was a slight delay with the tenant moving the sheds off the property, and so we're hoping to close at the end of this month. In preparation for that, we have worked with the city staff and city manager to come up with a MOU so that they can mow the property for us so it doesn't become overgrown and unsightly. They own a piece of property just a few parcels down that they're going to be mowing, so it's just going to be at their expense and their schedule. With when they mow their property, they'll mow ours down the street as well. If this is approved today, it will go, there's a couple of edits, so because of the storm and some other factors, in the AIS, if approved at committee today, it would move forward to next week's county council meeting for August 26th. The city manager has stated that they have this on their agenda for August 27th. And then on the MOU itself, it says commencing on July 1, 2024. That date will be changed to whenever the effective date of the MOU is instead.
I'll open it up for any questions. Questions? No questions?
No, I saw the last week, I think the last shed was being moved.
Yes, there's one shed left, that's their office space, and they don't want to move that until they know for sure they have their electricity and internet hookups on the new area.
And it will forever be a vista, open vista.
Yes, it's just an open vista, just similar to the Boundary Street Vista that is a little bit more in town where the old Wendy's
Where the
used to
old
be.
Wendy's, yeah.
Yes.
That one's so much different. Okay, do I entertain a motion? Is
I
this
so
in?
moved, Madam Chairman.
Okay. I have a second?
I'll second it.
All right, thank you. Without objection, this will move forward to council. Appreciate it.
Thank you very much.
All right. And we will stand adjourned unless there's something else. And what time, Mr. Chairman, would you want to start?
Can we do 3:05 to give them a couple minutes to get set up?
Yes, sir. All right, thank you.
All right.
Oh, yes, ma'am. This meeting is adjourned.